Hey guys, Paul McClain. Welcome to the Monday Morning Wake Up Podcast. Hey, classroom edition. I'm glad it served you well last time. This time we're stepping into really what's 80% of this business is phones. If you can book an appointment, odds are you're going to see some success. It just matters, are you stacking the deck with 20, 30 appointments every week? And so today we dive through and chunk down and break apart and put it back together, the phone script. Now the thing is this, I'll preface it with this. If you're not making enough dials, it don't matter. Right? Making 300-400 phone calls and then you're like, man, I still not booking what I need to be booking. We could tweak and adjust because your emotion, you're going somewhere. Now we can kind of modify, right? It's like a boat. Those new ones that go underneath the engines, what is it, impeller? Like you can't steer that thing unless you're going forward. You got to be going somewhere. I tried it. I tried to start steering and now about running into somebody's house. So you got to be in motion. But today we're going to break it down. So guys, lean in. I hope this serves you well. Take some notes. Leave some comments, right? Put yourself in a position where you can win that $250 in lead investment for the week. And also anything you have questions about, like, hey, I'd love to have this, trained on, or can you talk about this, or what about that? Put in the comments. Love to be able to kind of know where you're at and what would feed you best. Also like, subscribe, share this. Again, everybody wants to make a difference in everybody else's lives. I know I do. And sometimes just a quick share. There's been a lot of podcasts and things that I've shared with somebody and somebody said, man, I don't know how you knew this. I really needed that. And that made such a big difference. And I didn't even know until months later. I'm like, man, all I do is share it. So share it because it might make a difference. So guys, I hope this serves you and serves you well. Make it a massive week. Lean in, take some notes, and we'll see you after this. All right, guys. So phone script, you've all heard, it's like 80% of the business by far. So the one thing that most can do, Rudy, is if you could just elevate your activity, you'll elevate your game. Now, there's certain things that'll help out. Like, anybody in here use phone burner? Okay, so that does help because it helps with activity. Now, for me, I always understood that the mindset behind my phone calls was just as important as what I was saying. And so if I can kind of put myself into a zone, Rudy, and increase my intensity, then I think I believe I would increase my productivity. So I liked having two phones. Now, phone burner kind of does that, right? Right. Same concept. When I was dialing, I had two phones, and when one was ringing, I was calling another lead on the other phone. And all that did was it just kind of put me in this position where I felt like I was deserving of more appointments. Like I always wanted to increase my deserve more. Like I deserve to book more appointments. Like I was just talking to this agent, and he was driving 5 hours to go on appointments, and he was going to go the next week 7 hours to go on appointments, and he was going to plane and fly to another city. And I was like, dude, the thing about that is, for one, you're going to be productive. You're going to where the leads are, and that's going to help your production because you're not going to have scarcity in leads. You're going to where they're at, and there's an abundance of them where you could just stack the deck in your favor. But I said, also above that, like you believe you deserve more. Like how do you not go out there and like subconsciously just believe that, man, I should write to pay this week because I paid the price. I sacrificed. Look at what I did. I went the extra mile. That kind of stuff. One of the things that you could do that gives you that edge. So I'm going to give you a couple things that will kind of help level up intensity, Rudy. Like when do you start dialing?
8 in the morning.
8 in the morning. Okay. Most everybody dials at 8 in the morning. You want to know why? Because we always say dial at 8 in the morning. Now for me, I was like, man, if I could dial at 7 in the morning, I'd have an advantage, an edge. Does that make sense? And that's all I wanted, because if I'm running a race and I'm not the fastest one, I'm okay with not being the fastest one if I get a head start. Like if I'm racing against who's that fast guy? Usain Bolt. He in like a 400 meter. He's fast about any meter, but he's running a 400 meter. I don't want to race him. I'm not confident. I'm thinking like, look at what I've done in the past. I've never ran a race. I'm going through my past. Like, shoot, am I even that fast? Some people say I'm fast, but that's when they saw me run against my 13-year-old. She's 13. He's not 13. He's a man. Like, and I start, this ain't the same. And I start messing myself up. And I got to pick up the phone and make a dial. But if I can start on the 300th meter, I might still lose. But he's got 400 meters. I got 100 meters. I think I might win. In fact, I might run backwards the last 10 meters just to taunt him. Because I had a head start. Hey. And they didn't say no head starts in the rules in this race. Gotcha. You see what I'm saying? So like dialing at 7 a.m., it kind of just puts you in this state of mind that like, man, I'm doing more than most. And that just kind of puts you in this zone. And I promise you, man, like 7 to 8 is like the magic hour. It's just, everything's just better. You book more appointments, people answer the phone more. And then think about this, 8 a.m. comes, you're sitting there already with 3 appointments, and the person next to you is just walking in the door. It just feels good. It sets you up. So little things like that. Also, like having this consequence, like mindset, these non-negotiables. Like when do you typically stop dialing, Rudy?
8 o'clock at night sometimes.
Okay. Is there ever a time that you don't hit your goal for appointments? Like if you're dialing on Monday, how many appointments do you want to book for the week?
Well, the goal is the 16.
16. Mm-hmm. Okay.
For the 2 run days.
So you're dialing on Monday. Your goal is to book 16 for Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday is to book 16 Friday, Saturday.
Correct.
Do you ever get to the end of the day and you don't hit 16?
Yes.
Okay. Do you ever stop dialing at 8 o'clock on those days?
I do.
Okay. So that's one of the things that if you just tweak that, like all this stuff, I'm going to get into objection handling. We're going to role play phone script. All that kind of stuff will help a lot. But these are the things that help even more than anything else. Like if you could just say, I'll never stop dialing until I hit my goal or it's 9 o'clock at night. That's what helped me be so productive. So when I felt like, because what happens is, man, you're dialing all day. You're like, man, maybe I hit 13, 14. Man, 13 is not too bad. I'm just going to get it tomorrow. Maybe I'll dial between my appointments and fill in 2 more for the next day. Well, that's great. But guess what you could be doing between those 2 appointments if you already had those appointments filled? You could be door knocking. You could be out there being more productive doing something else. And so if you could just say, man, I'm not going to stop dialing. Now what happens is this. If you say, I'm not going to stop dialing until I hit my goal or I hit 9 o'clock. Dude, nobody wants to dial until 9 o'clock. I didn't want to dial until 9 o'clock. Now, was there a lot of times I dialed until 9 o'clock? A lot of times. In fact, I can remember almost every time I'd be the last one in the office dialing until 9 o'clock. But all those other people that left before 9, those fools didn't book their appointments either. But at the end of the week, when the leaderboard came out and I was at for the week and they were just like, man, he always just writes. All that happened was you left at 6, I stayed until 9. My ratios weren't as good. My show ratio wasn't as good. My close ratio wasn't as good. But my 3 extra hours led me to 4 extra appointments. Those 4 extra appointments were the 3 sales I made. The other 7 didn't work out. That's how it works. It's just how it works, man. It's crazy. You get paid so much more for that little bit extra. And so that one thing really will change your game. Now, what that also does is this. Have you ever been distracted while dialing?
Absolutely.
Dude, I remember dialing phones and all of a sudden, this would happen every once in a while, I'd almost like I was in a phase and I wake up. Like I took a nap with my eyes open, like my newborn. They were like, is he all right? We're like, I was like, babe, his eyes are just, he's open, he's sleeping like that. So, okay, I just want to make sure. That's how he's sleeping. It's weird, but he's good. I was just like, what the heck? All of a sudden I realized my phone went off. It was a Facebook alert. And guess what? That external trigger went off and I was like, let me just see. I just want to look. That's all I'm going to do, just take a look. That's it. Just a little quick look and I'm back to my dial. In fact, I'll look while I'm dialing. And I did. Next thing I know, it had been 6 minutes, 7 minutes. I'm on some person I went to high school with, their ex-girlfriend's gardener's page that's looking for a job. And then this guy Jeff commented on the post, and I click on his, and he's now running for governor or something like that, and he's young. And I'm like, and then I feel inadequate, like, what the heck? I thought I was doing good running this business over here, agency, insurance stuff. This dude's all a politician and stuff. I'm looking at his feed, like, how did he become that? Like, what about, no kidding, all of a sudden I wake up, I'm like, what the heck? And then I felt like a complete piece of crap. I was like, what is wrong with me? It's easy to do. So now what helped me not get so tempted to do that was I would like to go home and eat dinner with my family at 7:30. I like to do that. And so if I like to do that, but I have a non-negotiable, I have to hit my appointment goal. And I'm going to stick to it, because the worst thing I can do is not stick to it, because then I lose personal self-respect and integrity with myself. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
It's so different than like the parents are like, Jimmy, if you say that again, I'm going to whack you. And Jimmy like says it again, and you don't whack him. Well, I'm not telling you to whack your kid. I'm just telling you, don't tell your kid you're going to whack him and not whack him. If you said it, you better whack him. I'm just telling you. So I don't think whacking is good. You should have said it. The moment you said it, you better follow through, because you lose integrity. And they're not going to listen no more. It's the same thing with ourselves, though. And it's even more important. When you start saying, I'm going to do something, you don't do it, that messes you up. And it's even more magnified because you're self-employed. Because then you can start to like slack off and compromise. Like, I'm not going to come in at 8. I'm going to come in at 9. All those things start taking place. When you're an employee, you can do that stuff to some regard, but then you have parameters that you have to still go to. You're self-employed. You can let that self-respect that's dwindled, that self-reputation dwindle, and it bleeds into different areas. But if you say, I'm gonna hit it, now what happens is this, dude, and you're gonna have to dial until 9. You have to either hit your goal or you're gonna dial till 9. Guess what? You're more focused, because you're gonna follow through. Right. Like, kids listen more when they know you're gonna come through. They don't believe you, they don't listen. It makes sense? I got a lot of them, trust me. I've done it good and bad on both ways on them. They're like experiments. You know what I'm saying? Like, I started the ones that I experimented the wrong way, as far as, saying I'm going to do something, not doing it. One was just really cute when she was 3. Okay? So what I'm saying is, like, it's a big deal. It matters. So if you do that, Rudy, it'll get better. It'll get better. And, dude, you'll feel so good. When you get home at 9 o'clock, even when you left with, say, 14 appointments, your goal was 16, dude, I'm telling you what, man, like, it just feels better. Sleep's better. Everything's better. You just have this fulfillment because you did what you said you were going to do, even if it didn't hit. But when you leave at 6, 7 o'clock and you know you should have stayed until 9, you don't feel the same. So now when I'm trying to be the present with my kids or family and put that hat on, it's hard because I'm still stuck in this regret of, man, I know I should have done what I said I was going to do. Or I know I should have hit my goal. So now I can't be fully present here because I'm pulled over here. And then when I go to work the next day in the field, I'm thinking about how I wasn't fully present there because I was still thinking about here. And now I'm discontent, frustrated, and lack any fulfillment in the business. That's why I say this business is the most fulfilling or the most depressing. It's both. Because you can literally say, I'm going to do this and do it and feel great. Or you can feel terrible. It's the highest pain or lowest pain. You say, how do you know that? Oh, we can do leaderboard. We never wrote 0 for life. I'm like, it's some killed it, some didn't. Depending on what you did. So if you do this, it'll make a massive difference. Now, before you go into dialing, Rudy, do you have any kind of like, what's going on in your mind before you make a phone call?
Well, before I start dialing, so I have my affirmations I read to myself. I have my devotional. I pray. I kind of just try to, I guess my whole mindset behind it is just like you said, just get in the zone and just kind of just dial and just become somebody different, right? Just when you're in the zone, just do everything possible to just book that appointment.
Okay, good, dude. Does anybody else do something like that? Who doesn't do that? They just dial. Honestly. Okay. So I think that's a big deal, dude. Because by default, you think of negativity. You think of selfish. Like I need appointments, or it's not going to go as good as I think it's going to go. By default, it's just what we do. It's like we're in the high desert today. You guys drive down the street, you'll see weeds. There wasn't no gardener that stopped out. I was like, I'm going to plant some weeds out right here. I'm going to plant some weeds. Put some thorns in them. Just in case some helpless little child runs through this field, they can get a sticker in their foot. I'm going to do that. That's what I want to do today. They don't do that. They just grow by default. And they're ugly. They don't look good. And them stickers do suck. Ain't good. You guys from the high desert, you want them stickers in your foot. But by design, you got to take them out and you got to plant the good stuff, the stuff you actually do want to see, the stuff you want to look at, the results you want to visibly stare at. That's what you want. It's by design, by intention. So before you dial, like what I would do, Rudy, is I'd picture myself, because now I was calling leads that were years old. So I'd picture myself up on a skyrise. In all reality, I was sitting in my mom's garage on Thunderbird in Napa Valley, which if you want to have an appreciation drive that will build some gratitude in your heart, drive down Thunderbird. I give you the address of where I was living. Thunderbird's in Felony Flats. Am I lying, James? Felony Flats. That's not the name of the city. It's Napa Valley. But it's called Felony Flats because of the amount of felonies that are committed there. So if you go through there, you got a good chance of being a part of a felony. Just on the wrong side of it. You don't go to jail. You just were a partaker in the person that received the felony. So that's where I was at. It's hard to think like business, which is why it's so important to come to this office. You step in here, you feel a little bit more of like a professional, right? Absolutely. I'm a business owner. I'm running a business. People, it's their benefit to meet with me because I care about them. I take pride in my position. I want to help people. It's just different. So I had to visualize myself kicked up on a skyrise, like on the 80th floor. I was sitting there, and my assistant, which I did not yet have, my fake one in my mind, walked in. She said, "Hey, we got these leads. They fell through the cracks. Nobody got a hold of them. Can you help them?" And I was like, "God, I guess." I take the leads, and that's how I visualize myself like that. So I was calling the request. I'd call him like that. Like, "Hey, Rudy, Paul here, getting back to you. One of the managers here with the Mortgage Protection Center. Listen, you probably don't remember this, Rudy. I'd be surprised if you did. But back when you financed a mortgage in 2009, you had filled out a request to protect your family in the event of a death or disability to make sure they were covered. Now, Rudy, listen, it seems like we had some families that fell through the cracks and didn't get the information they requested. So as a manager, I've been reassigned to make sure to get this taken care of for you. I just need to confirm some of the information and make sure it's still correct, okay?"
Okay.
And I would do it like that. Now, that doesn't sound like a telemarketer, and it didn't make me sound like I was desperate. I was controlled, I was poised, and I'm trying to sound like, dude, I got a million things going on. I'm really busy. I'm just getting back to you. Fell through the cracks. No, it's super important, so I made it a priority. That makes sense? If you call with that mindset, you're going to say things in which they need to be said, the way they need to be said, to get the result you want to get, which is the client responding as if they're thankful that you're finally getting back to them. So on one end, you call a client, and by the way, the CRM mortgage protection that they dumped in there, they're money. They are money. What are they, $2.50? Dean, have you been working those?
I didn't work those. I work Asian mortgage all the time, though.
You love them?
Oh, dude. Yeah.
He's working a bunch of age mortgage protection leads. So I love when deans come on board, because when somebody says, let me just tell you, these leads, it's like, well, I hear what you're saying, but the only thing I got to say is Dean has been here for 14 days. So what, should we call Dean? What do we do? Is it leads or is it you? Or did Dean just pick right for the last 4 weeks straight? Do you want to call Dean and ask him when he clicks his button and what kind of computer he's got? Or maybe it's a Mac. Maybe if it's a Mac, the better leads go to Macs than the HPs. Maybe we should do the Mac lead purchase. You got a Mac? Could you go buy a Mac? Maybe let's do a Mac. He's like, what are we talking about here? So those leads are phenomenal and they work. But you got to call it with the right posture. So one person calls it, they say the same words, but they're saying it in such a way that's, man, I need an appointment. And guess what you get? You get the response like, hey, we're not interested. Can you stop calling me? We're not interested. That's what you get. The other person gets, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Look forward to seeing you. That's what they get. It's not what they said as much as it was how they said it. Does that make sense, guys? It's how they said it. That's just the way it works. It's like, so my wife, the other day we were going to church. She said, babe, how these jeans look on me? And I was going to say good, But I had to make sure how I said good. That makes sense?
Yeah.
If I said good, like, they're good. They're good. She said, what do you mean they're good? These don't look good on me? Yeah. But I said, they look really good. It's different.
Yeah.
Same word. It's how I said it. That makes sense? All right. So the big thing is having some non-negotiables and parameters around dialing. The other thing, because we know 80% of the phones of this business is phones. Like, Rudy, have you ever like called a lead way too many times because you weren't yet buying enough leads?
Yeah. That's what I'm doing right now.
How'd that feel?
Sucks.
Why are you doing that right now?
Future drafts. So not.
So you broke business and they're still not coming through.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the thing. When you're calling a lead over and over again, it makes you feel desperate. And when you're desperate, when you call a lead that you would book, normally you don't book it. Does that make sense? It's kind of like if, and this will be a practical tip. If somebody no-shows me, Rudy, and I get no-showed, when I call back, who in here's got no-showed before? Okay. Rudy, when you call a no-show back, what do you say?
Well, typically, if they no-show me, I'll try to go back to the same house.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm calling them back the following day, I'll just tell them, sorry, I wasn't able to get to them. So I kind of pretend like I was never there.
Good.
And then I just rebook the appointment.
Very good. That's how you're supposed to do it.
Right.
You flip it on them. So I'm like, Rudy, listen, I'm just getting back to you. We had you in the schedule last week at 7. Hey, man, listen, I do apologize. We were double booked in the schedule. We've got way more clients to see and families want the protection than underwriters to serve them. But I wanted to make it a priority to you because I know how important it is. I can get you back in at 7 o'clock, and I'll make sure that you're in there and there's not a bunch of appointments right around you to get this taken care of. The only thing I do ask is you give me a little window between 6:30 and 7:30. Is that fair enough, Rudy?
Yes.
And you go to book it. That's what helps. You know how I used to do it? Hey, Rudy, I just getting back to you. Hey, man, listen, I know we missed each other. You weren't there last week, so I was just calling to see if this week would be better for you. That's how I used to do it. And guess what he would say? Man, this week's pretty busy. Got a lot going on. Can you give me a call maybe next week sometime? That's what I used to get. You used to get the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it works. See, the cool thing is this. I can kind of tell you exactly what your clients say. You know why? Because they always say the same thing. You know how we got a meeting going on right now to get better? Your clients and the leads are not in the next room over figuring out new objections to give you. The same ones I got 12 years ago, the same ones you get 12 minutes ago. It's the way it works. They don't come up with any other creative thought process. It's all the same stuff, which is why it's so great to get on podcasts and learn because it ain't it's what they get. It's what they say. It's psychology. So you flip it around on them. You know what I mean? I'll give this tip for James because this is a single dating tip, right? I had to give it because I'll never be single again. I never used this because I wasn't smart enough back when I was dating. But it's like if you go on a date, a blind date, James, and they don't show up, all right, when you call back, just say, hey, listen, I'm so sorry I wasn't able to make it. I apologize. Don't take that as disrespect that I don't want to meet you. Still interested, but I had a lot of things come up and took some time. Love to come out and get together with you next week. They'll be interested. So it works. Same thing. They'll be interested. If you call back like, hey, I was there waiting for like 10 minutes. You never showed up. Can we get together this week? Ain't going to work. Right, Tanisha?
Right.
She knows. She did that to Big James. So this is how it works. It's just, using the whole tee up and take away, urgent. Does that make sense? And when you call, how can you communicate as if you've already got 17 appointments when you got 0? How can you communicate like you got 17? Rudy, have you ever been like, client says, I'm busy. I don't have much. Can you call me back tomorrow? Or if they said, Tuesday at 2 o'clock doesn't work. What do you used to say? What do you say?
Well, if I give them time for 2 o'clock, I'll be like, no worries. I'm just basically I'm no worries. I do have a ton of stuff families to see. So, normally normally when I set the appointment, I ask them morning or afternoon, right? So they choose morning.
Okay, afternoon.
They choose afternoon. If I give them a time at 2 o'clock and say it doesn't work, I'm like, okay, perfect, no worries. Looks like my last appointment will be at 7:30, so I'll just try to schedule them later on in the afternoon.
Okay, 7:30 doesn't work either.
So that's where it kind of. Yeah.
Okay, so the worst time again is chasing, and that's another way you can start chasing, is when they don't have time. So that was the objection that always messed me up. Is I'd say, so Rudy, I got you. I got some time. Looks like I get you in between appointments Tuesday at 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock. What time is best? He comes back and says, man, that day doesn't really work that well. And then I used to say, well, Wednesday. What about Wednesday? Wednesday I've got a 1 o'clock, a 4 or 6, which is better. Wednesday don't work either. Okay, well, let's take a look at next week. Well, man, why don't you just give me a call back next week? Okay, I'll call you back next week. That's how it used to happen. And I realized, like, how can I flip it just like the no-show? How can I flip it? Because, and at the end of the day, I am in control, because what I have to offer, they need. I don't need them to buy. There's a million people in America that need life insurance. It don't have to be them. I'm fine. It's about them. And so when I call, I say, Rudy, listen, he says, 2 o'clock don't work. I'll say, perfect. No, or he says, this week doesn't work actually at all. Can you call back next week? Listen, Rudy, absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and put down some notes because we're running really behind, as you can imagine, and see what I can do to best accommodate you, because I'm managing several different counties. And so I definitely understand being busy. What time are you typically in the door, like from work? Is it 5, 6? What does that look like?
About 5:30.
5:30. What about your spouse? When is she in?
She's same time.
5:36. Okay, listen. So Rudy, the next couple weeks I'm going to be managing other counties and areas. I don't know the next time I'm going to be back in the area because we are that behind. I know this is really important for you, Rudy. I don't have anything after 6 o'clock tomorrow or Wednesday, but as a professional courtesy to you and your family, I'm going to go ahead and try to put you down at 7:30 and move my 7:30 to an earlier time. If I can't do that and it doesn't work for them, Rudy, I'm going to call and let you know, but I'm going to do my best to help you and make that work for you. The only thing I do ask is that you give me a window, because I'm modifying this for you and your family, that I need a window from 7 to 8. Is that fair enough? So all I did was I basically let him know, hey, I'm just as busy. In fact, I'm busier. I didn't say, Rudy, yeah, I'm busier than you. So you know. I didn't do that. But some people do that, but just in a different packaging. But that's what they hear. And it didn't work. Like the whole arm wrestling thing, it didn't work. But I said, man, I understand being busy, dude. They've got me managing multiple different counties. So, and my response to me guiding him to my thought process, I'm letting him know, man, we're crazy busy. But I'm not just saying busy. I'm saying, man, I understand being busy because they've got me managing multiple counties because we are that behind. So I'm letting him know that I'm a manager, which people want to deal with managers. Does that make sense? Like I remember getting phone calls, from this internet company, and they'd call all the time. Hey, wanted to talk to you about internet. I won't name the name, but you probably know them because they probably call you all the time. Make me want to freak out. I'm like, what the heck? And I blocked their number, and they come in a different number all day long. And one time a manager called. He said, hey, my name's Bob. I'm one of the managers here with the internet company. I just wanted to give you a call as a courtesy to check in, make sure that everything's going good. I actually talked to that guy. I don't even know why. Because he said he was a manager. I was just like, okay, maybe I'll talk to you. So when you do that and you say, I'm managing multiple different counties, as a courtesy to you, I want to put down some notes to see how I could best accommodate, because I know it's important. So I'm always going back to it's important for you. It's important for you. It's important for you. I'll do my best to accommodate. As in, I'm going to do my best to do you a favor, to serve you, but I'm running behind. It's going to be a favor because I'm managing multiple different counties. So it's not like you could just before, you thought you could just get an appointment. I'll call me back next week, maybe the week after. I'm free on the 27th at 3 o'clock, actually 3:05, 22 seconds into the half minute. That's when I'm free. Can you get me then? That's what they think. Anytime. Hey, your sales guy, anytime. My goal is to get you from thinking that about me to thinking like, man, this person is busy. This is important. I need to book an appointment. And I say stuff like that. I know how important this is to you and your family. And so I'll put down some notes. And all I'm doing is I'm playing along. And you say, well, after 6. And once I do that, it's a takeaway. But listen, Rudy, I know how important this is for your family. I don't have anything after 6. He didn't even want anything after 6 at all this week. He didn't want to meet this week. But I say, I don't have anything after 6. And now he's all sideways. You don't even remember what he said. far as objections, because it was crap anyways. He was watching the Clippers lose on Wednesday night. He ain't gonna be doing nothing. So I say, so 6 o'clock, I don't have anything. But what I could do as a courtesy, man, because I know how important this is for your family. Again, I know how important this is for your family. I know how important. It ain't me. Not because I know how important this is for your family. So as a field owner, I'm going to do my best to get my 7 o'clock moved to a earlier spot that I do have available. If I can't make that work for them, I'll call you and let you know. But let's just go ahead and plan on 7 o'clock until otherwise. The only thing I do need from you, Rudy, though, this is what I'm going to ask for him. I'm not asking for the appointment. I'm assuming the appointment based off my setup. I'm asking for him, can I get an hour window? Does that make sense? You guys tracking with me?
Yeah.
And then he says, yes, the appointment's assumed. And I go out there. So the ticket with phone script is to have this in your mind, guys. You're the doctor, they're the patient. That only comes from understanding how valuable this is. You can't see the doctor-patient analogy by nature. The reason why I use that is that culturally, in culture, it's just like you don't think of a doctor as a person making money on you. You don't think of them as a salesperson. But if there's no patients, does a doctor make money? No. The people walk in and they serve them. Now, when the doctor sees a patient, the doctor knows he has the upper hand. He knows he has to have the patient to make money, but the benefit he provides that patient as far as peace of mind and health, that is so far outweighs the money he's making. For one, he thinks, even though they make a ton of money, he thinks I don't make enough because, heck, I'm saving lives, helping with health. What's as valuable as that? That he doesn't ever come across as needy when he's talking to you. When you met with a doctor, how uncommon would it be to meet with a doctor and you feel like, man, he just sold me on the fact I had strep throat. Like, I don't even, do I really have that? He just sold me strep throat. Like you don't think that, dude. You know? You just don't. Now, if the doctor is walking down the street, he's like, hey, Rudy, I'm a doctor. When's the last time you saw a doctor? You look like you need a checkup. You're breathing a little off. Let's get you in. You're like, what? Get away from me, freak. Are you high? You're like, get away. That's how insurance people are without leads. That makes sense? Hey, I just got my license. Do you need life insurance? It's hard to have posture, dude. It's hard. Is it important? Yes. Was that random guy walking in the street maybe needing to get a checkup? Maybe. But he ain't going to be interested with that approach. Could you get a couple like that? Probably. That's selling insurance without leads. That makes sense? But when you have a lead, guys, that's like the patient walking in the door. You've got all the control. Because for one, it's the most important thing they could ever get. So when you're dialing, if you can do those affirmations like Rudy's doing, like I wonder if you just started doing that, if that would make the biggest difference to you. If you could just start saying, I'm great at dialing. I love making phone calls. I'm great at protecting families. There's nobody better at helping families than me because I truly care. I understand how important it is for every family. Regardless of what they say, that doesn't shadow the fact that they know they desperately want to protect their family. If they don't book the appointment, there's some reason other than the fact that it's not important, because it is important. Maybe something took place, bad day or what have you. But everybody knows that life insurance is the most important thing. I'm serving people that have asked for my service. I'm great at serving others. I'm great at protecting families. I love making phone calls. That's how you speak your way into it. You know, that's the stuff that's going to help. So if you can do this will set you up. This is a lot. I thought we were doing some role play. This is the stuff that matters most. How can you get an edge and an advantage? Edge is starting to dial sooner, starting to dial later. Edge is making sure that you've got enough leads. So Rudy starts having the deck stacked in your favor, bro. It's a lot easier to have that doctor-patient mentality. You don't have enough leads, and you're calling the same ones over and over again. It's difficult to keep that. Now, this is the thing, Rudy. Like, I love you, bro. So this is open coaching session. So we're talking open and honestly, okay? When somebody says, I'm waiting for future draft dates. For one, don't do future draft dates, okay? Don't do future draft dates. I'll give you an in-home tip, even though this is a phone script classroom today. In-home tip is when I ask for the draft date, I say, Nico, listen, the way this plan works is the premium is going to come out in a couple days. Most clients don't care at all. It makes no difference to them because you're protected and they want that protection right away. We can always change it later online if you want to pick a different date, but it should come through and hopefully, fingers crossed, it comes out in about a couple days, okay? I go like this, all right? He says, okay. That's all I do. Now, the ones that really need it on a future draft date, which is not going to be many, will say, oh my God, it can't come out in the next 2 days. It has to come on this day. But dude, that happens 1 out of 10 times. Because I think 1 out of 10 times probably do need a future draft date. But most don't. They got $92 in their bank account right now. But if you don't handle like that, if you say, hey, Nico, you can choose any date in the world you want. What's the best date for you, good sir? And you're like, well, I think the 18th. That makes sense? So that's how you get rid of future draft dates. Now, the one thing I've always realized is this too. Okay. So, like we have leads. A lot of IMOs don't have leads. Everybody needs life insurance. So when I got started, I had no money. I was 19. I had a brand new little baby. I sold my snowboard for $300, which I love that snowboard. That was like my last day snowboarding. I became an adult and got my license. So I sold my snowboard for $300, and then I started talking to people that I knew needed life insurance, and I sold some warm market and fed my business. Now you can say I already have my warm market, dude. Your warm market's always changing. Like we got this building here. I'm writing a policy on the electrician, on the contractor's uncle, the contractor's brother, the flooring guy, and the guy that did the new ducting here. They're all getting life insurance. I didn't solicit them. They said, what is this? I said, we do life insurance. We help people with life insurance, financial services, and stuff like that. I said, oh, that's pretty cool. I said, man, by the way, I appreciate what you do. Like, you helping this get done is a big deal. I know it might not seem significant, but it is significant. Because if you didn't get this done, we wouldn't be able to move forward. And I really just say, I appreciate you. And that being said, dude, I don't do this hardly ever because we have a ton of leads that we're working and we're really behind. But as just a courtesy, I'll do a free review for you and go over your life insurance and just see if there's anything I do to help you save money, man. I would not mind doing that. You've gone above and beyond for me. Guess what else said? That'd be great. You see what I'm saying? Ain't that deep. All right, like in volume. They all need life insurance, dude. I'm not even in the field no more. But I'm like, why would I not do that? Like, because they actually do that. And I feel like I'm the best at it. Which you should feel you're the best at it too. You say, I'm not the best at it. I just got started. You're the best at it, even if you just got started. You want to know why? You're the best at it even if you just got started because you know people that are the best at it. And you don't have to be the person if you know the person. Does that make sense? I don't need to know how to do heart surgery. If I know the best surgeon and you need heart surgery, you just like the fact that I know the best surgeon. I give you the contact, connect you. So that's where your confidence comes from. You borrow it. Borrow it from the ones that are already before you that can tell you what to do. That's where my confidence. I was walking around like the best producer. I was walking around like I was a producer. When I was 19. I had people come up like, dude, clients ever ask you how old you are? And I'm like, no, not really. I mean, sometimes not really. I get it all the time. I was like, because it's the way you walk. I walk like I know. I'm confident. I walk like I've been doing this for 19 years. I came out of the canal doing this thing. I saw my mom's ovary life insurance policy. Like I was slinging. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you want me to tell you? Like I came out with that kind of confidence. Not because of what I did. My confidence is from all the people that I know. All I gotta do is call them. And they'll tell me, how do I not get confidence from that? I don't have to be the person. I know the person. And that made the difference. All right, so let's do some. What leads are you working like right now, Rudy?
The most instant.
Instant? Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's do a role play, dude. You call me.
Okay.
And I'll say hello.
Ring.
Hello, this is Paul.
Hey, Paul. This is Rudy. Just getting back to you about that request you filled out online for information on life insurance protection. Looks like you put down your date of birth as 6/29/65. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Perfect. Now, Paul, again, my name is Rudy. I'm just a field underwriter that has been assigned to get this information out to you. It looks like my office has me dispatching you the next couple of days. Just looking to see if Tuesday or Wednesday works best for you.
Probably Tuesday.
Tuesday? Okay, perfect. Now, Paul, I'm going to be out in your area from 8 to 8 on Tuesday. I do have about 8 to 10 families to see. Would you prefer morning or afternoon?
I think afternoon probably be better.
Afternoon, perfect. In the afternoon, I do have 2 slots open. I have a 12:30 or a 4 o'clock. Which one works best?
I think 4 o'clock would probably work out better.
Perfect. Now, Paul, I have the office, your address as 123 Main Street. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Perfect. Now, Paul, is this an apartment or a house?
A house.
A house, perfect. Now, Paul, is there any gates or dogs or anything like that I need to be aware about?
No gates.
No.
We have a little dog. It's Golden Doodle.
Golden Doodle? Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
miniature one.
All right, I love dogs, so no worries. Now, Paul, the color of your house, what color is your house?
It's gray.
Gray? Okay, perfect. Now, Paul, when I get there, would you like me to park in your driveway or is it in the street okay?
Street's fine.
Okay, perfect. Now, Paul, do you have a piece of paper, pen and paper down? So I can give you something to write down?
Go ahead.
Perfect. So I just want to give you down. My name is Rudy. My license number is 0M8765. And our appointment time will be for Tuesday at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Paul, is there any reason you won't be home Tuesday at 4 o'clock?
No, I should be
Okay,
there.
perfect. I'll see you Tuesday. Look forward to seeing you and helping you.
Okay. Well, not bad at all, dude. What's your show ratio?
Nervous.
That's natural. Right?
It's about a 50. About 50%.
50%. Okay. Your show ratio is 50%. Okay. So a couple things that I think would help with your show ratio is just saying things in such a way that make it seem more like you're doing them a favor, not so customer service, subservient. Like when you say like, do you want me to park in the driveway or on the street? I wouldn't ask that. I would say stuff like, because we have about 14 appointments scheduled for tomorrow, Rudy. The only thing I do ask is if you give me a window between 4 and 5, would that be fair enough? So like that'd be a question that in that question, I'm getting you to understand how urgent it is and that everybody's doing it. So my show ratio goes up if the value goes up and urgency goes up. So if you want a show ratio higher, urgency higher, value higher, show ratio higher. That's how it works. So urgency is, I've got 14, 15 appointments, Rudy. That's urgency. Like we're booked. Like if you ain't there, good luck on getting back in the schedule because we're booked. That's urgency. Does that make sense? That's where the urgency comes in. So, and then also when I say I got 14, 15 appointments scheduled, that's also making you realize that everybody's getting this. Like everybody wants to do what everybody's doing. I mean, like everybody gets that. You got trends and all that, like, stuff that used to not be cool. After a while, it's like all of a sudden it's cool. Like it's just trends. It's a herding concept. We're all trying to follow the herd. What they don't want, the fear somebody has, is that they got taken. Like it was just me. They don't want that. So I started saying like we have 14, 15 appointments scheduled for tomorrow. That'll help you out. The other thing I think when you close and I say, so I got you down at 4:30 tomorrow, Rudy. I look forward to meeting you and helping you. I'll see you then. That's just a small little statement at the end, but I'm leaving it with you being appreciative that I'm coming. Because if I say, Nico, I'm going to help you, you say thank you. If I help you, you say thank you. So I say I look forward to meeting you, and I'm also giving them the vision of the future. Like I look forward to, we're meeting. This is going to happen. I look forward to meeting you and helping you tomorrow at 4:30. You say thank you. I say you bet. Bye-bye. That's about how it works every time. So if you're not getting them to say thank you at the end, change that. Because if I end the conversation with them being appreciative that I'm coming out, they're more likely to be there when I do come out. Does that make sense? So that'll help with that as well. And then the one thing you could do if your show ratio is still low, the only thing you could add, Rudy, to that is when you're going through and saying, I'm getting back to you about the request that you sent down in for information and options for life insurance. Just need to verify the information that you put down real quick. You put down this, is that correct? And they say yes, and I say perfect. And Rudy, most families that send in a request just like this, they all have about the same thing in mind. They just want to make sure that when they die, that their family's in a better financial position, that there's some life insurance in place to replace income or burial expenses, just to make sure that there's no hardship. Does that kind of describe you as well?
Yeah.
So it takes like no extra time truly, but all I'm doing is I'm attacking the why. That's the value part of it. I mean, because think about it. If you think about all the clients you've met, Rudy, is it fair to assume that about 99% of them were meeting with you either because of income replacement, final expenses, or leave a legacy?
Yeah.
Every one of them. What else would it be about? You still to pay off the mortgage. That's to replace the income. Because the income was still there, you wouldn't have to worry about it, right? It's to make sure really there's no financial hardship. So if I could go general and say, or for either loss of income, burial expenses, just to really ensure that there's no financial hardship or devastation when you don't come home. And now I'm not saying if, I'm saying when. So I'm making it more real for him. The more real it is for him, the more valuable it is to him. Does that make sense? It's more real, it's more valuable. And so these are the things that'll help kind of strengthen that phone script, so to speak. Other than that, it was good, man. Tonality, you weren't like crazy up. It was good. But that's the stuff. One thing you can do as we wrap up is record your own phone script and listen to it. And we talked about this earlier in the meeting, but like having a mirror that you can look at. Most people walk around and you don't even know what you look like. It's like you get back home at the end of the day, if you got a piece of kale stuck in your tooth and you ate lunch at 12 and you talked to 32 people, you'd find some new friends, but you didn't know it. Because if you knew that was there, you would have got it out, right? You didn't know it was there. And so you just don't know. Well, the more frequently you can put a mirror in front of yourself and interrogate your reality and take a close look and to see what you see, you can make better choices to change what you see to make it look more in line with what you want to see. So getting the mirror in front of you is crucial. Putting that mirror right in front of you. Recording your phone script is putting the mirror in front of you. Because now you can hear it. And you're like, man, I didn't know I said that. I didn't know I said it like that. And then you can tweak and adjust it. Because that'll happen. Man, I didn't know I was saying that. I didn't know my voice went that high. Hey, what am I doing? I got to stop that. You don't know. But if you listen to it, you can fix it. And you can tweak and adjust. And all this business is about little small tweaks and adjustments while making massive, massive action. So I hope this served you guys well. I appreciate you. Thank you, Rudy, for doing that, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Hi, my name is Maddie. I'm a new recruiter here for Family First Life through the agency of Solidity. Today we are going to be giving out $250 worth of leads.
Yes, and then those, go ahead. Yes.
Congratulations, Miracle Leathers. Contact Victoria to claim and redeem those lead money.